All right, folks, this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get this show started. Hey, and welcome everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, think living local and the return of cool. Want to welcome you all back to the show today. We were gone for like at least, I don't know, we were almost 2 weeks. We were gone. I was doing some filming. We'll be doing a lot more of that coming up in the future, where we'll be doing a lot of filming, and we're changing the format. Just kind of really trying to get this thing dialed down, where we can give you guys the best information and keep you abreast of all the cool things that are going on in Las Vegas. And this weekend we're actually going to be out at the Desert Wildlife Bird Refuge. So the refuge way up north. So it's just past Mount Charleston. Actually, it's the Mount Charleston turn-in. Instead of going left to go up to Mount Charleston, you turn right going east, and you can go. And 3 miles later, you're in the bird sanctuary. So take the 95, make a right. Anyway, so we'll talk more about that a little bit later. I want to welcome all of our friends who are joining us from Facebook, and you're joining us on YouTube. If you're joining us on our YouTube channel, I really encourage you to like our page or subscribe to our channel. And if you're on Facebook, definitely like our page and join in on the conversation anytime. Just join in on the conversation. We are simulcast on our Livin Weekly platforms, Livin Weekly, Livin in Vegas magazine, and Black Success magazine, which is always fun. So I just want to encourage you guys all. Don't even worry. Just come on, join in. I can actually see you, and I can answer some questions along the way. Can't guarantee that I'm going to do it right away, but I can do that. As a matter of fact, yesterday I got a phone call from a friend of ours. Her name is Esther, and Esther gave me a call because she heard that we were hiring over here at the magazine, and had a great conversation. I think she might be coming in on board somehow. I don't want to get ahead of her. It's really up to her what she wants to do. But definitely, folks, if you would like to be a part of the Livin in Vegas broadcast, you want to get into media, you want to get into sales, and we call them actually business engagement specialists. Business engagement specialists. Definitely contact us. We'd love to have you. Let's pay a bill or two, and we'll be back, and we'll get this show on the road. Okay, hang on a second. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, folks, and we're back. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. It's out on the shelves right now, and I just wanted to remind you, if you want to go to our website at livininvegas.com, you can actually check out our current issue of Livin in Vegas magazine. On the front cover is Nathan Hall. He's the owner of Bad Beat Brewing Company. We want to make sure that we give them a shout out to those folks who are doing a great job out there. They're way out in Henderson, as a matter of fact. A fantastic place. I mean, it's really a very, very cool place. We've got a great article of them in the Livin in Vegas magazine, and so we'll be talking a lot about that during this quarter, and telling you all about that. Also, we write another magazine, and it's called Livin Weekly Magazine. I finally got the right cover for it up. So Livin Weekly Magazine thing, and this particular week, we'll be having a new one coming up Friday, tomorrow. But you can still check this one out. Just go to livininvegas.com and you can check it out. It's called Things to Do in Vegas for free. Okay, this is important. We talked about this yesterday, that the gentrification of Las Vegas, but there's a lot of things that you still can do for free. This particular magazine we'll be putting out this week will actually be going to phase number 2, and we'll be talking about more free things to do in Vegas. Free things to do in Vegas, and it's, there's tons of stuff to do here in Vegas. Also, we also put out a magazine, or put out a group that's called the Christian Business. Oh, I gotta get all this stuff off here. Let's get that off there. Okay, get you off there. Okay, Christian Business LV. So Christian Biz LV. It's a new organization we've just started, which is basically, it's a networking group for Christian business owners. And we want to make sure that if you'd like to be a part of that, folks, this is really fun. Just contact me. Contact us at info@livininvegas.com. We'll tell you all about Christian Biz LV, and you can actually check that out. And lastly, but not leastly, folks, we're really excited about Livin 702, the brand, and its clothing line. We're actually starting a clothing line, and I know this is really very fun. The 702 clothing line is going to be just hot. We're working on some cool graphics on it. Kind of gives you an idea of where we're going with this, folks. Casual wear for the person who is active and they're out and about. So once again, check all this and everything else we're doing out at livininvegas.com. Okay. Anyways, let's get to some stories today, because somebody told me, they go, Sherman, you talk a lot. And I go, I know. That's why I do what I do. I talk a lot. I don't know if you saw this, folks. Yesterday, the wind got so bad here in Vegas, it literally was probably, 40, 50 miles an hour. Oh, yeah. It was so bad. Lightning, rain, thunder, the whole thing. I went out riding this morning, and there was all kinds of stuff everywhere. Just be very careful out there on the roads, folks, because it's going to come back again. We're just at that time of year where we just see a lot of weather, a lot of really weird weather, and you just want to be very, very careful driving on the roads, because there's going to be a lot of stuff out there on the road. Also, there might be, and this has happened in the past, is you will see a flooding happening all of a sudden, because water is being trapped someplace. Because we had a lot of rain in parts of Vegas. Well, where did that water go to? In some cases, it might have been trapped. Okay, so you just got to be very, very careful about that. I don't know if you saw this story, but this was very interesting. People reported out at Prim, over at Whiskey Pete's Hotel and Casino Wednesday, that they saw something very unusual. They knew it looked very familiar, but they couldn't figure out what it was. And what it was a not-so-secret F-117 stealth fighter. Yeah. No, really, a stealth fighter. It was on its way. It was on the back of a truck, and they were taking it to a museum in California. So the Nighthawk, it's an F-117, so it's it's a stealth fighter. It stopped over at Prim, and people took pictures of it and stuff. It's not so secret anymore, folks. It's just, now it's just a plane, because we've got bad boys now. We've got stuff that's even cooler than that. But can you imagine seeing that on the back of a trailer? Yeah, I know. It's got to be killing people. And many of you, if you lived out near Pahrump, or excuse me, not Pahrump, but near Amargosa. And this here, I'm going to teach you guys some stuff here. Okay, there are certain words that if you're just moving here to Las Vegas, you've got to learn how to say. Okay, um, Potosi, not Potosi, it's Potosi. Okay, Potosi Mountain. Okay, it's over. It's kind of go up to 160, and Potosi is up there. It's Nevada, not Nevada. Okay, Amargosa. Okay, not Armagosa. It's Amargosa. That's the way we say it. Mount Charleston. Words like that. And because if people hear you say words, they're going to say you're a tourist. You've never been here. I've heard newscasters do the same thing. Newscasters, they're going, oh yes, over there at Mount Potosi, and you go, what? Where's Mount Potosi? I've never heard of Mount Potosi. Okay, it's Potosi Mountain. Okay. So what else is going on? So there was a story. I know we're running through this. Somebody told me I talk too much, so they want more information. So I'm going to give you a little more information here that you can actually use. So there is a nonprofit, Project 150, and they are gearing up for the school year, because the school year is starting in about another 2 weeks, and so they are putting together gear for kids for their first day of school, and you can get some really cool stuff, clothing, supplies for the new school year. All you've got to do is go with a student ID to the Gowan and Rancho Drive. It's called Beatty's Beauty. Okay, not Betty. It's Beatty's. Okay, Beatty. And I know Beatty because I've got, or Beatty's. Okay, because my kids, my wife's, or excuse me, my daughter's husband's name is Beatty, and it's spelled the same way it looks with. You can go to the Beatty boutique on Gowan Road and Rancho Drive and get all this stuff for free, which is pretty cool. They've got brands, Nike, Adidas, Vans. They don't have the 702, the Livin 702 brand. Oh, I know. I'm going to push this, folks. We're going to get this. The 702 brand is going to be there, folks. It really will be. Look for it. I told you about this, right? The 702 brand. Let's put that back up there for just a second. Okay? 702 brand. We're going to have, as this brand rolls out, we're going to start out with T-shirts. We'll have, hoodies, that kind of stuff, polo gear. But eventually, I would love to see tennis shoes and skatewear. I really would. And I would like to see 702 jeans. Okay? 702 jeans. Can you see it? Wouldn't that be cool? All right. So we're already putting out, we've already got a Facebook page up, as a matter of fact. You can actually go to Livin 702 brand. So Livin 702 brand, and it is up. I'm going to go to it right now, as a matter of fact. And you can actually get to that page, and it's I'm very excited about it. Yeah, it's called Livin 702 brand. Okay, so it's the brand is called 702. So it's Livin 702. So Livin in 702, and some of you are getting it all right. 702 is actually the area code for Las Vegas. So that's why it's 702 brands. Okay, so some of you are getting it. But you can go on that page. We have not even started inviting people to that page yet. We want to put people, and I know people have already started liking the page, but we are going to put some of the clothing that we're going to be selling on that page, and you can actually check that out. So don't worry, folks. Some of you might be wondering what to do this weekend. The Smith Center is the place to be at. The Smith Center is welcoming back their Broadway presentations. And many of you knew that during the pandemic, the Smith Center was just completely closed. There's nothing going on. And slowly but surely, they've been opening back up. And we're really excited about it because we're really high on the Smith Center. They just celebrated their 10th anniversary, and Myron's Cabaret is going to be doing some cool things. They also have Clint Holmes will be there. I love Clint Holmes. Many of you know who Clint Holmes is. Clint Holmes came on the Vegas night. He came on the Vegas scene probably 20 years ago. He and his wife, his beautiful wife, he's got a lovely wife. Um, Clint Holmes visited the church I was going to, I still go to, International Church of Las Vegas, and he would come to the men's group on occasion, which was very cool. So loves the Lord, very nice guy, and I can say this out loud, but he got saved during the time that I was leading worship at the church, and I got to be able to stand right there with him as he was accepting the Lord into his life and stuff like that. It was so cool. He's crying. He's just going through the whole emotional thing. Just a fantastic guy. So he will be at the Smith Center. So we'll leave a link to this and all the stories we talk about today. We'll be leaving those on our Facebook page, and you can actually check that out. So it's very cool. Some of you folks are joining us on our Facebook page right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to refresh our page because I know I saw somebody on there, and I was remiss that I don't want to miss you if you have something to say to me. So I'm refreshing my page now, and if you did have something to say to me, like hi, how's it going? We'd love to say hello to you, that kind of stuff, and it's always cool. If you have anything that you want to talk about, any stories, as a matter of fact, let's talk about this very briefly. One of the questions we had was that Adele is coming back to Vegas. So she's coming back in November, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. But she's coming back in November. And the question has been going around the blogosphere. Are you going to see Adele when she comes back to Vegas? Now, it's a pricey show. There's no doubt about it. It is like $3,000 or something like that to see the Adele show. But are you going to, if you could get free tickets to go see Adele, would you go to see her show? Okay, that's the question. And pretty much the consensus is, at least on our Facebook page, is they're not really supportive of Adele. And people have their reasons. And some people left their reasons. Some people just said no. And they don't, you don't have to leave a reason or anything like that. But the consensus was that most people are not really excited about Adele. I personally would go. Yeah, because I'm a singer. I think she's got a rich, rich voice. And I just kind of like her. So I would go if they gave me free tickets. Now, I would never pay $3,000 to see anybody. But unless it was Lola Falana or it was Sammy Davis Jr., I would pay money to see those two. But anybody else, I probably wouldn't pay to see. Also, we had along the blogosphere here in Las Vegas, the thought of Liz Cambage. And many of you know who Liz Cambage was. Liz Cambage used to be the center for the Las Vegas Aces. And she was with us for a couple of seasons. And she's 6'8", and there's a whole lot of Liz Cambage. She is just as awesome as she could possibly be. I love her, okay? I love me some Liz Cambage. I don't care what anybody says, okay? With her attitude and everything, I think that she's just devastating. She plays well. She's funny. She's crazy. She cusses like a sailor. She cusses worse than Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. She can cuss. So that's not my favorite part about her, but she can play and she's a competitor. She can score 60 points in a minute if she really is pushed to it. She was traded by the Las Vegas Aces for this season. Went to the LA Sparks. Did not like the relationship she had with them, and she says, hey, I'm done. Okay, I'm not playing anymore because you guys are just not good enough. And now there is word that that people are saying, hey, would we be willing to take her back here in Las Vegas? Once again, the consensus is, I won't say it. So they say no. They say no, we don't want you back here in Vegas. I personally would take her back in a heartbeat. That's just me. Okay. Let's go on with some more stuff here. So we talked about There was a story about JetBlue. Now, many of you know about Spirit Airlines and Allegiant Airlines. Allegiant is actually a local carrier here, and they're doing really well. JetBlue has put in an offer to buy Spirit Airlines, and it looks like that deal is going to go through. $3.8 billion. Okay, $3.8 billion. And they will create the nation's fifth largest airline if it's approved by the U.S. regulators. So, is that going to do us good here in Las Vegas? I think any way they can upgrade management, upgrade the way they get people from here to there is going to be better for Las Vegas. Now, many of you know I love the North Las Vegas airport. I've been trying to get in over to the North Las Vegas airport because I love to fly. I was getting my pilot's license up until the time I got in a car wreck, but I love flying. And I would probably, if I could get a job over at the North Vegas airport, I would take it in a heartbeat, just because I think it has such potential out there. So anything that talks about airlines, I'm all over it, and that's why you're hearing all about it. I got a couple more minutes. There was a story. Well, let's do this. Let's break real quick. Let's take a real quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about some more cool stuff. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Fantastic, folks. And we have a new sponsor, folks, for the show. His Hop Nation. His Hop Nation is actually a local ministry that's doing some really cool stuff. They've got a radio show. They've got all kinds of cool things that they're doing for the youth in Las Vegas. We're going to get more and more of their stuff up on, we'll get a graphics and stuff like that so you can actually contact them. But we welcome our newest advertiser for Livin in Vegas magazine, and we want to welcome you to the family. And Bree and her husband Sam are just doing a fantastic job with the youth here in Las Vegas, and can't wait to tell you more and more about them. In the time we have left, let's talk about being single in Las Vegas. Okay, let's talk about being single in Vegas. Now, many of you know that Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. Many of you know we're the gambling capital of the world. Many of you know we are now the sports capital of the world. But is Las Vegas a good place to live if you are single? Some people say maybe not so much. If you're trying to create a lasting relationship, Las Vegas may not be the place to go. Because if you think going to pools, nightlife, pool parties during the summer and all that other stuff is going to create that, and you're going to find that person, maybe not. Now, I found my wife, who I've been married to for 31 years now, here in Las Vegas, but it might be tougher to find that relationship. And some of you could tell me I'm wrong. I mean, you could just tell me I'm wrong and say, sure, no, I found my husband or my wife. And how many of you did? I mean, I'll ask you that question. How many of you found your husband or wife here in Las Vegas, and you found them at a pool party or hooked up at a nightlife? Okay, you don't have to say that last part. But it can be very, very tough. It's just a very tough, and I've had people tell me that before. Um, they did some research, and they took a lot of factors into account to see where Las Vegas ranked as far as a place where you can find relationships. And you would think we would come in the top, you know, I don't know, top 20 or something like that. Because we've got nightlife, we've got sports, we've got recreation, we've got all that kind of cool stuff. And actually, Zillow did some research of the top 100 biggest cities in America to find out where the best to live in if you are single. Okay, and they took in all these things to effect. If you can financially live here, that kind of stuff. Okay, Las Vegas didn't make the top 10, and if you look at just the top 5, I guess there would be you would own. I guess they have their own single appeal. However, given the choice, we would take Vegas over all the other cities because we just have so much cool stuff. But I will read off the top 5 because we're not even in the top 5, folks. So I'll tell you who the top 5 cities are if you are single and where you would want to live at. Okay, so number 5. In at number 5, San Antonio, Texas. Okay. Number 4, Denver, Colorado, of all places. I lived in Denver for just a short period of time. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is number 3. Number 2, another Texas town, Austin. Austin, Texas is number 2. And the number 1, this is funny. It's real close to where my wife was born at, Wichita, Kansas. Wichita, Kansas is the number 1. The number 1 city to live in if you would like to be a single person is Wichita, Kansas. Okay, but guess what? If you're looking to have fun and you're looking to a place that's going to be a place for the future for you, Vegas is the place. It really is. Especially, we're writing an article right now that you're gonna want to check out tomorrow in Livin Weekly magazine. That is going to give you a reason why Las Vegas should be on your list of places which is the best investment for you in your future. Okay, I think that's really the biggest thing that you should probably look at. Anyways, folks, we got to go. We'll be back tomorrow for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we'll talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, folks, think living local and the return of cool. I'm Sherman Ray, the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. If you'd like to get a hold of me, folks, you'd like to work with us, you'd like to be an advertiser, any of that stuff on the show, just send me your contact information at info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com. We'd love to contact you. Okay, we'll see you again tomorrow, folks, for Livin in Vegas podcast. Bye-bye.